back to playing some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. Today's video, since it's October the 2nd, we're starting off with the well, probably not every day, and we'll probably spread it out just to give more time for other stuff, but we'll start off this week with Titan and the Archfiend deck for the month of Halloween. God, I love this holiday. I love Halloween. I just don't know. I love Halloween. I wish that I can celebrate it like I done in the past few years, going to like parties and drinking alcohol and just having a good time, dressing up and what have you. But we gotta pretty much nix that this year. But I still want to celebrate, watch all those classic Halloween movies, Hocus Pocus, Nightmare Before Christmas, well, mostly Tim Burton films. But yeah, this is like, just eating candy and stuff like that, just indulge myself in the holiday festivities. I just want to live in like from October 1st all the way till January 30th. It's like that good holiday period that people just want to ingrain themselves in. It's just those festivities. It just warms your heart. But this video will be doing the Archfiend deck. Next week we'll be working on Bones and the zombie deck. But let's quickly go over these cards that Titan had. I also filled in some other Archfiend stuff because this is total Archfiend. And then the entire Archfiend archetype too, I'm combining. I was originally just going to do just an Archfiend deck, but then I realized, wait a minute, there's a character on Yu-Gi-Oh! GX that has Archfiend, so it seems ideal. So even though some of these are Jack Atlas's cards, I'll just breeze on through. I won't go over the details, but I'm going to completely read off the cards that Titan actually used in GX. And during the course of the video, we'll talk about him as a character during the few episodes he was in. Okay, first, Scarlet Light Red Dragon Archfiend, Red Dragon Archfiend, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, Chaos King Archfiend, Black Skull Dragon. This card can also be treated as an Archfiend card. Archfiend Black Skull Dragon requires one level 6 Archfiend normal monster plus one Red Eyes normal monster. You can only special summon Archfiend Black Skull Dragon once per turn. If this card battles your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated until the end of the damage step. If damage calculations perform involving this fusion summon card at the end of the battle phase, you can target one Red Eyes normal monster in your graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its attack in the graveyard, then shuffle it into the deck. Okay. Val Pawn Archfiend. The controller of this card pays 500 life points during each of his or her standby phase. This is not optional. When this card is targeted by the effect of a card controlled by your opponent, when resolving the effect, roll a 6-sided die. If the result is 3, negate the effect and destroy the opponent's card. As long as this card remains on the field, your opponent cannot attack any Archfiend monster on your side of the field except Vile Spawn Archfiend. And most of these Archfiend cards have the pay 500 life points each standby phase, so we're gonna skip over that. Terror King Archfiend. This card cannot be normal summoned or flip summoned unless you have an Archfiend monster card on your side of the field. When this card is targeted by the effect of a card controlled by your opponent, when resolving this effect, roll a 6-sided die. If the result is 2 or 5, negate the effect and destroy the opponent's card. The effects of an effect monster that this card destroyed as a result of battle are negated. Skull Archfiend of Lightning. Before resolving an opponent's card effect that targets this card, roll a 6-sided die. Negate the effect if you roll 1, 3, or 6, and if you do, destroy that card. Skill Red Magician. Each time a spell card is activated, place 1 spell counter on this card. When that spell card resolves, max 3. You can tribute this with 3 spell counters on it. Special summon 1 Archfiend monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 card you control that you can place a spell counter on. Place 1 spell counter on it. Shadow Knight Archfiend. When this card is targeted by the effect of a card controlled by your opponent, when resolving the effect, roll a 6-sided die. If the result is 3, negate the effect and destroy the opponent's card. The battle damage this card inflicts to your opponent is halved. Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning. This card is treated as a normal monster while face up on the field or in the graveyard. While this card is a normal monster on the field, you can normal summon it to have it. Oh, it's a Gemini monster. It has a Gemini effect. You can summon it twice to gain its effect abilities. Once per turn, you can destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls with defense lower than this card's attack. Miss Archfiend. You can normal summon this card without tributing. If you do, during the end phase, it is destroyed and you take 1000 damage. Bad Archfiend, Lancer Archfiend, Infernal Queen Archfiend. When this card is targeted by the effect of a card controlled by your opponent, when resolving the effect, roll a 6-sided die. If the result is 2 or 5, negate the effect, destroy the opponent's card. As long as this card is face up on the field during each standby phase, increase the attack of 1 Archfiend monster by 1000 points until the end phase. Imprison Queen Archfiend. During your standby phase, target 1 level 4 or lower fiend type monster on the field. That target gains 1000 attack until the end phase. Pandemonium must be on the field, and this card must be in your graveyard to activate and to resolve this effect. Okay, Deathstroke Archfiend. When this card is targeted by the effect of a card controlled by your opponent, roll a 6-sided die. If the result is 3, negate the effect and destroy the card. When Terracane Archfiend on your side of the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to special summon the Terracane Archfiend. Dark Bishop Archfiend. When an Archfiend monster on your side of the field is targeted by the effect of your opponent's card that it controls, blah blah blah. Roll a 6-sided die. If the result is 1, 3, or 6, negate the effect and destroy the opponent's card. Dark Resonator, Stubborn Archfiend. At the beginning of your draw phase, if you have no cards in your hand, draw 1 more card in addition to your normal draw. During your end phase, if you have 1 or more cards in your hand, destroy this card. Archfiend of Guilford, Archfiend Interceptor, Archfiend Harris. If this card is sent to the graveyard because of a card effect or being destroyed by battle, you can add 1 Archfiend card from your deck to your hand, except Archfiend Harris. You can only use this effect once per turn. Archfiend Giant. If this card is 500, this effect can only, if this face-up card on the field will be destroyed by a card effect, you can pay 500 life points instead. This effect can only be used once while this card is face-up on the field. If this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Archfiend monster from your hand. Archfiend General. you can discard this card to your graveyard to add 1 Pandemonium from your deck to your hand. If this card is on the field but Pandemonium is not on the field, destroy this card. Archfiend Empress. If exactly 1 face-up Dark Fiend type monster on the field except this card will be destroyed, you can remove from play 1 Dark Fiend type monster from your graveyard instead. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, from the field to the graveyard, you can select 1 level 6 or higher Dark Fiend monster in your graveyard except Archfiend Empress and special summon it. Archfiend Emperor, the First Lord of Horror. You can normal summon this card without attributing, but its original attack and defense becomes halved. If summoned this way, it is destroyed during the end phase. You cannot special summon monsters, special summon any monsters except Fiend type monsters. Once per turn, you can banish 1 Archfiend card from your hand or graveyard, then target 1 card in the field, destroy that target. Archfiend Commander. If you control an Archfiend card, you can special summon this card from your hand, but it cannot where was I? But it cannot attack this turn. You can only special summon Archfiend Commander once per turn this way. When special summoned this way, target 1 Archfiend card you control, destroy that target. When this card is tribute summoned, you can target 1 level 6 Archfiend monster in your graveyard, special summon that target in face-up defense position. Archfiend Cavalry. If this card is on your field, if this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Archfiend monster in your graveyard except Cavalry, special summon that target. It cannot attack this turn. Got Summon Skull, a fiend with dark powers for confusing the enemy. Among the fiend type monsters, this monster boasts considerable force. This card is always treated as an Archfiend card. Rise Black Dragon, Archfiend Soldier, an expert at battle who belongs to a cracked diabolical unit. He's famous because he always gets the job done. Alright, now the supports. That's 6. Each time a player rolls a die or dice, you can choose 1 die result and apply the appropriate effect based on the result. 1, 3, or 5, the die result is treated as 6. 2, 4, or 6, the die result is treated as 1. Okay. Don't know how this will work. Obviously, this connects to the Archfiends. So, each time a player rolls a die, you can choose 1 die result and apply the appropriate effect based on the result. Okay, so if it's supposed to be a 3, the result is treated as 6. Okay, so let's say, for example, if you roll a 1, 3, or 6, if you do, destroy that card. Okay, so let's say if I get 2 or 4 or 5 and not 1, 3, or 6, if I choose 2, 4, or 2 or 4 on this one, I immediately get the 1 and from that result instead, and will count, and I can negate any effect that targets this card and destroy it. So yeah, it's pretty much like second coin toss. I can get like a another crack at making sure I get the result I want. Red Supremacy, red screen, red cocoon, Hate Buster. When a fiend type monster you control is targeted for an attack, target the opponent's attacking monster and that monster you control, destroy both targets, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of the opponent's destroyed monster. Dice reroll. one time during the rest of this turn. If either player rolls a die or dice, you can have the players re-roll. You can only gain this effect once per turn. Too bad it's not like a continuous. It seems more fitting to have a continuous version of that. Battle Scarred. Select one Archfiend monster on your side of the field to activate this card. Your opponent also pays the same life points that you pay for the selected monster during the standby phase. If this card is removed from the field, destroy the selected monster, and vice versa. Archfiend Roar. Pay 500 life points, then target one Archfiend monster in your graveyard. It's supposed to summon that target. It cannot be tributed. Destroy it during the end phase of this turn. Okay, that'll be good for avoiding direct attacks, or I can use it to synchro summon at least, or fusion summon. Okay, Scarlet Security, Red Dragon Vase, Polymerization, Pandemonium. Neither player has to pay life points during the standby phase for Archfiend monsters. Each time a player's Archfiend monster is destroyed and sent to the graveyard except by battle, that player can add one Archfiend monster from their deck to their hand with a lower level than the destroyed card. Falling Down. Activate this card by targeting an opponent's monster. Equip this card to it. Take control of it. Destroy this card unless you control an Archfiend card. During each of your opponent's standby phases, you take 800 damage. Checkmate. Tribute one Archfiend monster on your side of the field. During this turn, one Terror King Archfiend on your side of the field can attack your opponent's life points directly. Axe of Despair. This card is always treated as an Archfiend card. The equipped monster gains 1000 attack. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can tribute one monster, place this card on the top of your deck. And then Archfiend Palabyrinth. Archfiend Palabyrinth. Okay, all fiend type monsters you control gain 500 attack. You can target one Archfiend monster you control. Banish one other fiend type monster you control. And if you do, special summon from your hand, deck, or graveyard one Archfiend monster with same level as the targeted monster. You can only use this effect of this card once per turn. Okay, so now we went over the Archfiend decks. Let's go ahead and try them out. Titan was kind of like a funny side villain. One of those dueling mercenaries hired by Crowler to weed out weak duelists, I guess. But he also had like a more diabolical boss he worked for, or he was kind of the root cause of Alexis's brother's death, or not death, but his abduction by the main villain of the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX series, the Darkness. Apparently it was some kind of out of work carny or something like that. It was like a funny joke, but yeah, he had like a very formidable deck. It was a very tough deck to beat, because Jaden took him on because Alexis was like out of commission, or at least she was blindsided by him. No spell cards. and so Jaden had to take him on. Excuse me. Yeah, essentially have to take him on. But then he was pretty much like wasn't prepared for the barrage of like the whole dice theme, avoiding all the effects Jaden was laying out, and just like it was just, you know, putting Jaden through the ringer, because none of his fusion summon monsters abilities were not doing anything like he typically would be. Yeah, it's over. I got no supports going on. But yeah, the Titan had this little thing around his neck called the Millennium Pendant. Was some kind of gimmick thing he was putting on just to psych people out, terrify them. Of course, Jaden wasn't falling for any of that crap. Of course, spoiler alert, Titan was essentially taken by the darkness, because the place they was dueling the place they essentially was dueling was haunted in a way. So essentially, you know, Titan was trying to like, hey, this is not me. I'm not doing this. And then he got taken over by the darkness, who also was the cause of Alexis's brother's essential kidnapping. So it's all, you know, the whole Shadow Riders and all the other stuff. The darkness had its hooks into everything. Well, not Sartorius, but that's a whole different thing. But Sartorius has always been there. I mean, the darkness has always been there. Did I have Scapegoat when I was using Alexis's deck? Can't remember. I should have. Oh my god, you know what I should have? I need to put in like life absorbing machine. Because as much life points I'm paying, I need a card like that to have. Just so I can regain life points every time it's being taken away by an effect. That will be a good idea. I'll do that right after this. I can put this away and get oh. Oh, went too far. I do need something to increase my life points. Gotta get rid of something. Do I need 2 Archfiend's Roars? I don't even have Monster Reborn in here. I could just give it a dice re-roll. Oh, I was probably gonna need that. Wait, I got an idea. Toss this. This, so I can actually afford to have. Where is it? How many track cards I got? Solemn Wishes. Sorry about this. I need to make sure that I make sure I have a decent chance of getting some life points, because I forgot how much life points you have to pay to allow certain things to happen with this deck. You have to make sure you have something to regain life points with. You don't want to end up screwing yourself. There you go, spell absorption. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue. Now, Archfiends is the WV Kids WB version of what is typically would be considered demons in the Japanese. Yeah. what you guys think of Titan as a character, and what you guys think about the Archfiend deck archetypes. Okay. Good thing I already did like a vampire deck, which you can find it on the channel, YouTube Talkative Carl. So now I'm gonna be doing demons on this video, then plain old just zombies in general for the video next week. The El Kashido Spirit is not good of a card. Alexis has it in her deck too, but it's so limited in its use because how many monsters will you go up against with the same attack as you? Not very often. So it's very limited in its use. Yeah, when you go up against an Archfiend deck, uh, you gotta be very careful when dealing with opponents like that, because those Archfiend's effects can really trip you up. Because if they target a specific card for a specific task, it's a 3 out of 3 chance you might end up losing out on having your effect be gained. And there's a risk involved, but that's where the supports come into play, just to keep those risks at a minimum, or at least put the favorite in your side of the field. You know, would you believe that back in the day when I was younger, Life Absorbing Machine was one of the OG cards that were released, and I did not give it its just due. I always thought it was like a card. I was like, oh my god, this sucks. But if played the right way, it does not. Oh my god, I didn't put Archfiend's Roar on the field. Shoot. Let's start over. I keep getting it confused with the Battle Scar for some reason, because it looks so similar in the way of design. Not the artwork, but just the way the pictures are positioned. Crap. They can't have those two on the field at the same time at all, because you only can attack if only one of them was on the field. You only can attack that monster, but if two at the same time, then I have no I'm blocked. Of course, you can always include the Red Dragon Archfiend cards, you know, if you feel like it. It's not necessary. I just thought it's part of the Archfiend. Technically, it's in the name, but you know, you can consider just the Titan's primary Archfiend that he has. Those kind of things. The Red Dragon Archfiend stuff, you don't have to necessarily include. I just thought it'll just be fitting to include them, just to fill out the Archfiend deck that I built here, so it just feels natural, or at least in my eyes. This is full Archfiends. I haven't utilized any of the Archfiend's special abilities yet, which is so weird right now. I just haven't come across any specific effect that targets them. Yeah, I mean, you can of course stick to the Archfiend monsters that require you to pay life points. I guess that will be considered the traditional Archfiends. But I also want to give all the Archfiends this day under the sun. Okay, let's try again. No, I already did Alexis. Let's try to get Zane. Okay. Okay. Shoot. If I only knew. There we go. While this card's on the field or in the graveyard, once per turn, you can destroy as many spells as summon monsters. Okay, we're coming up on an hour. I mean, well, that's pretty much the. I never got Mirror Force drawn, and it's too bad I never got really the chance to utilize the Archfiend's little effect abilities aside from getting my life points taken away. But all in all, that's pretty much the Archfiend deck. It's a solid deck. I'm pretty sure by this point they have some better support cards in its repertoire. But if you're building an Archfiend deck, this is one way of doing it. It's a solid deck. I highly recommend trying it out. Make sure you utilize its supports to back you up when getting your life points taken away by its own effects. But have other cards that will help gain life points, like Solemn Wishes, Spell Absorption, and Life Absorbing Machine. These kind of cards is ideal to regain life points, so you can pay to have certain of the other monster effects to go into effect, because it's not optional. They will take your life points away each standby phase, unless you have these supports that prevents it, like Pandemonium, or other cards that increases your life points so you can afford it, like Solemn Wishes. But this is not something that you have to do. This is not like something I'm saying like you have to do it like this. But this is just an example. But Archfiend deck is a very good deck. So I will see you all next week for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. We'll continue on the theme of the foreseeable videos for the month of October for very more Halloween themed decks. Next week, once again, it'll be Bones that I'll be doing like a video for, and the zombies. So thank y'all for joining me. I'll be back in a few minutes. I will be booting up Resident Evil 4. So stay tuned.